pulling your coater angle head off the board at the correct time. Again, mud compresses, so you need to release the air and then travel at least 2 inches on the board before you pull off the coater. If you don't, you will have a glob on the blade and a mess on the wall the next time you touch the coater to the wall. If your timing is correct, this will be a very clean tool. Using the coaters and angle heads. Once you have the coater attached to the cannon, you'll need to set up the blade tension system correctly. For 7-inch fill coat, set the tensioner from about 3/4 to 5/6 tight. For the 10-inch fill coat, set the tensioner 1/2 to 2/3 tight. For 10-inch skim coat, tighten down the tensioner at least 3/4 tight. The same will hold true for the 12-inch skim coat. Once you have set your air and material flow valve, you're ready to coat. Positioning with the tools is very, very important. This is really a hand tool with a big green handle, just like the small brown handle on your hand knife blades. We're going to keep directions fairly simple and easy to remember. First, when coating a 4-foot high horizontal flat, put the green tube in your left hand and extend your arm just like when you learned to ride a bike. You would give me a left-hand turn signal. That is how you extend the coater to the wall. Do not bend the tube and lean into the wall. That force would be coming from your elbow, through your forearm, through your wrist, to the way your fingers point, and it is perpendicular to the tube. Again, do not do this. Here's a good test to see if you're doing it right. Put the coater on the wall, take your air hand, and bring it back to your body so the tube is about 80 degrees to the wall. If you're approaching the wall incorrectly, the mechanical push-pull feel, the white wheels will come off the board. If you're extending your hand, holding the tube toward the wall correctly, the wheels will stay on the board and give you the correct wipe-down feel and great edges. For the ceilings and horizontal angles, here's another easy way to remember the correct way to hold the tube and approach the ceiling. Back in grade school, when the teacher asked a question and you knew the answer, you'd raise your hand to get called on. This is the correct way to hold the cannon. Put the tube in your hand and raise your hand to answer the question. If you bend the tube coating your horizontal angles, you'll get too much mud in the angle. You are putting the pressure on the front of the side blades of the angle head, thus too much mud. For vertical flats and angles on your ceiling down coat, put your tube hand on top of the tool, middle, ring, and pinky fingers on one side, and the thumb on the other. Your index finger should point at the coater or angle head. Put one foot in front of the other. Put enough pressure on the tube to wipe down the flat coat or collapse the angle head before coating. Engage air, wait a split second, and get up to coating speed right away. The air hand will go under your armpit. With flats, release the air 2 inches before you meet the fresh coat. With angles, bend your knees when your angle head is down to 3 feet, release the air at 3 inches before the floor, and pull off the angle head at 1 inch above the floor. For coating 8-foot to 4-foot butts, hold the tool just like the vertical flat application we just talked about. The only difference is when you come to the point where you want to pull off the wall, before you pull through the flats, you pull up on the air hand above the shoulder, and that will break off the coater off the board. For coating the 0 to 4-foot butts or vertical flat off the floor, point your toes at the butt or flat you are coating, 1 foot, 2 feet behind the other. Your weight should be over your front foot, your hand cupped under the green tube, and extended towards the board and the air lever just below your armpit. Engage the air, wait a split second, get up to speed right away. Keep extending your tube hand towards the wall Bring your air hand and lean your weight from the front foot to the back foot. As you're finishing your coat, release the air lever 2 inches before you take the coater off the board. Then bring the air hand back below your armpit. For butts on the ceiling, your blade tensioner should be 3/4 to fully open. Your feet should be parallel to the seam you are coating, and one foot should be 2 feet in front of the other. With a cannon in your hand, raise your hand like you know the answer and keep that pressure. Engage the air, wait a split second, get your speed up, shift your weight from your back foot to your front foot, release the air just before you take the coater off the board, and then pull your air hand back to your body to break the coater off the board.